Russian President Vladimir Putin is visiting India this week on the 4th and 5th of December for the 23rd Annual Bilateral Summit. This trip will be Putin's first to Delhi since Russia's full-scale war in Ukraine. It's taking place at an extremely sensitive time when India's relations with America are tense and its relations with China are on the mend. Russia seems to be the only dependable strategic partner that India can seem to count on. Before Putin's visit, External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar visited Moscow last month, meeting with Putin on the sidelines of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Heads of Delegation meeting. In August, Jaishankar and National Security Advisor Ajit Doval undertook back-to-back visits to Moscow. India has been deepening its engagement with Moscow even as Trump keeps tightening the screws. India and Russia are turning to each other because of their current difficulties with America since US President Donald Trump returned to office. Putin's summit with Trump back in August in Alaska yielded very little. Peace in Ukraine is still elusive, and Putin is pushing ahead with his battlefield advantage. Trump has repeatedly expressed his frustration with Putin, including by calling off a proposed summit in Budapest. There is now a 28-point peace plan, but both sides are yet to sign off on it. Trump has said that he will only meet Putin after a deal is finalized, not before. Since they last met in Alaska, the Trump administration has continued supplying limited weapons to Ukraine. Ukraine has to sacrifice a lot if it accedes to Trump's plan. Trump's special envoy Steve Witkoff and his son-in-law Jared Kushner spent 5 hours this week with Putin to thrash out a Ukraine deal. There was progress, but there was no breakthrough.
Мы нацелены вывести сотрудничество с Китайской Народной Республикой и с Республикой Индия на качественно новый уровень с усилением его технологической составляющей. На это нацелено множество совместных проектов в энергетике, в промышленности, космосе, сельском хозяйстве и так далее. По вопросам экономической повестки у нас выстроен содержательный диалог с председателем Китайской Народной Республики господином Си Цзиньпинем. Также подробно будем обсуждать эти темы в ходе предстоящего визита в Индию с премьер-министром господином Нарендрой Моди, включая увеличение импорта индийских товаров на наш рынок.
India has been the beneficiary of a few decades of bipartisanship consensus in the United States. But now in recent months, India finds itself at odds with Trump, mostly because Delhi has been purchasing large amounts of Russian oil. However, many American and Indian foreign policy analysts attribute the downturn in the relationship to Trump's peeve with Prime Minister Modi for not acknowledging his role in ending the India-Pakistan war back in the summer. Trump was also offended that Modi did not accept the invitation to come to the White House at around the same time as Pakistan's army chief Asim Munir. Soon after this, Trump imposed 50% tariffs on a range of Indian goods and bilateral ties plummeted. Given this decline, it is not entirely surprising that India is now open to rejuvenating its partnership with Russia. A range of reports this week suggest that the India-Russia summit will be consequential. Several deals are under discussion, among them the sale of fifth-generation Russian fighter jets, the Sukhoi 57. There's also the possible transfer of the S-500 missile defense systems and the possible manufacture of these missile batteries in India. There is even some speculation about the creation of a maritime corridor linking Chennai to Vladivostok.
And yes, it's our readiness to enhance, to develop our cooperation with China in various fields without no limits. But the same stand we have with India. We are ready to go as far as India is ready. It's not over-exaggeration. It's the best plane in the world. And the issue of Su-57s certainly will be on the agenda during the coming visit.
And apart from these mutually beneficial deals, Putin's visit also sends a clear signal on the part of both Delhi and Moscow that they have powerful friends outside of America. It suggests that India can still count on Russia, including access to sophisticated weapons and energy. Russia, in turn, can demonstrate that despite its estrangement with the West, it enjoys a cordial relationship with an emerging power like India. That's one reason why Russia wants to elevate its relationship with India to a no-limits partnership, much like what it has with China currently. That message will definitely resonate in Washington, but how Trump chooses to respond remains uncertain. Regardless, New Delhi is going ahead with rolling out the red carpet for President Vladimir Putin. But there is one complication, and that is China. Putin's interest in India is mostly sporadic. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has repeatedly said that there are misgivings about India's participation in the Quadrilateral Security Dialogue, or the Quad. Trump, in fact, was supposed to have come to India for the Quad, which India was supposed to host this year. Now the Quad summit has been postponed indefinitely. It is entirely possible that Russia is keen on a series of defense deals and other commercial agreements with India, only to widen the rift that has emerged in ties between Washington and Delhi. Because of the growing estrangement with the Western world, Russia is increasingly dependent on China, which is India's long-term adversary. During much of the Cold War, New Delhi relied on Moscow as a strategic bulwark against Beijing. Now, Russia can no longer be counted to come to India's assistance in the event there's going to be renewed tensions with China. Trump's mercurial nature, particularly in his second term, is now well known. It's also evident that he has allowed his personal whims and fancies to damage the carefully constructed Indo-US strategic partnership. And it is into this void that Putin will be stepping in this week, hoping to woo India away from the American strategic axis. In diplomacy, Russia and India have now gone from off-limits to no limits.
Been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing.